I'm Scott L. Miller. It is the 4th of August, 2022, and this is my vlog of daily life in Nicaragua. Thanks for joining me, and welcome to Thursday. It has been a busy week, but a good week. I have had a lot of time because we have so much weird stuff going on at the hotel. I have had very little time for my normal stuff, but Dominica has had to move to the hotel. She is now the hotel manager actively for the time being. We don't know how long that's going to last, but it is going on for a while, so that's keeping her extremely busy, and that means I have the kids and the dogs full time, which doesn't require all that much. I mean, the dogs drive you crazy. They need to go out for a walk just nonstop, but the girls are really on top of most everything with the dogs in the house except for walking them. That's the one thing. I mean, even most adults can't handle doing that. They're such maniacs. But in the morning, I get Liesl to come in and hang out with the dogs, and she watches them all through the day. She lets me know if they need anything. I do regular walks with them. Luciana takes care of the cat. They mostly feed themselves, the kids, not the animals, and so it's not too bad. And then in the evenings, we're getting a lot of time to hang out together and play video games and bake and do food and stuff together, which is really cool. We're having a lot of really good bonding time, and so we're making good use of Dominica being away, that we get to hang out. She's not away. She's just 20 minutes away, but she's got to stay there and deal with the around-the-clock hotel stuff. And the kids do not want to move back to the hotel, and I need to work a lot. So that's pretty much kind of where we're at. So we see her every so often. She comes back to the house and hangs out for a little while and then heads back to the beach. This morning, though, we had a lot of stuff that we had to do, we being Dominica and Paul and I. So Dominica was at the house early, and we didn't hang out, right? We had to go to meetings all morning and just dealing with paperwork and all kinds of official stuff. Just a very busy day. It's one of the problems with owning a business, especially in another country. There's just a lot that has to be done. So all morning we were dealing with that. We did get to go out for lunch together. We got to go to Pani Paz, which is always delicious. Went and got sandwiches and hung out downtown for a little while and got to relax, which is nice. That was pretty good. Then it was right back to work for me this evening, though. More video gaming and hanging out with the girls. That was nice. My big thing that drove me crazy today, I use Final Cut Pro, as most of you know, and I'm working on editing Bendy and the Ink Machine Chapter 1 for you guys on the Loaf Gaming channel. It's not really for you, it's for me, right? But I'm working on editing that, and I really want to get that one out because I think it's very different than the other ones we've done. I think it turned out well, and I think it's a really engaging video to watch because the game is so cool, like the artwork and the music. The story is some, creepy horror show, so that is not my vibe, but the artwork and the music are so my vibe. It's so cool. And the girls really enjoy that, so they've been wanting to do that, and Valentina's looking forward to trying it out because of course she watches all the videos because she works on them. And so Final Cut Pro completely choked on that. I put in easily 6 to 7 hours today trying to get Final Cut Pro working with Bendy and the Ink Machine, and finally it got so bad, even though I figured out a process to kind of get it to work, it was going to take so much time. I finally gave up, used Final Cut Pro to make a title screen, exported the whole thing, used Shotcut, which had no problems with it, and rendered the whole thing for me flawlessly. It drives me crazy that Shotcut, which is free and open source, does such a good job with so much stuff, and Final Cut Pro is so flaky. I love the interface, I love how easy it is to use. There's a whole bunch of things I really like in Final Cut Pro, but it's stable. It is not. It is not in any way as reliable as Shotcut and OpenShot and Flowblade, right? All of them completely stable. Just way more like when you need to get something done, they get it done. Final Cut's more like, I have all these cool features, but I may just choke on you. That thing must have crashed completely on me no less than a dozen times and failed to render 20, 30 times. It was, and all Shotcut, no problem. Over and over again, I would test different things. Shotcut, no problem. Final Cut, just crashing out. On the same machine, right? It's not a machine thing, like all on the same machine. So that was frustrating. That took a lot of my time today. But this evening, so the last couple nights, right, I've talked about Luciana did peanut butter truffles, and then she did, last night the girls did the pot pie, which is a veggie pot pie, right? It was root vegetables, it was onions and carrots and peas, oh my, and that kind of stuff. Hey, let's stop looking at me. Let's take a look at the gorgeous street as I walk down. I'm at the, I don't even know what the name of this hostel is because I can't read it. So tonight, Luciana just decided she was going to make chocolate chip cookies. So she found a chocolate chip cookie recipe and made it at like 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night. I think 9 o'clock is when she made it. Did not need us at all. Like, not a thing. She's like, I'm going to go make chocolate chip cookies. And I think she asked where the cornstarch was. And like, that was the only thing. And she went out and found all the ingredients, did all the measuring, followed all the instructions, made the whole thing. And then at like 10 o'clock, she's like, okay, now we just have to wait 3 hours. I'm like, what? She's like, yeah, the recipe is 3 hours. Oh, just a kitty. Is a 3 hour wait in the fridge to cool down the cookies before you bake them. So the dough before you bake it. I'm like, oh my gosh. So she did that. So at 1 o'clock in the morning, which is about the time I got Bendy in the ink machine to finally work on Shotcut, by the way, we took them out of the fridge and baked them. So about 1:45 is when we finally got a chance to eat her very first batch of homemade cookies, which turned out not too bad. They turned out more like biscuits than like cookies, and she was a little bit upset about that, but they tasted good, and for the most part turned out pretty well. And most of the problems, I think, come from the oven. We have no idea how to get the oven to be as accurate as it should be, because we're just not used to how it works. And there's a whole bunch of things, like the butter's different here, and like a lot of the ingredients are different here, and we're not sure how to adjust the recipes to take advantage of that or to account for that. So that has made it really rough, and I think sometimes like the recipe doesn't go quite the way that she thinks it will, and so the bread ends up too fluffy or too biscuity or whatever. So that's been a little bit tough. But they turned out pretty good, and we ate some, and that was our evening. It's so much fun that she's doing that stuff, and she's like learning every time. She just gets a little bit better, because this is all her first times, and she's mostly doing it on her own, because it's not like I'm any kind of baker. I can't give her any kind of real guidance. I can help with stuff, but not very much, and really she probably knows more than I do at this point. So it's really impressive, her ability to just go off and do her own thing without needing me for anything. And Liesl has done so well at taking over being basically the dog mom all during the day, and takes care of the animals and just make sure that they have what they need every day. Every morning she gets up and goes and does all that stuff, and they're really helping out around the house and everything. So it has been really, really cool. That is our Thursday. Coming up this weekend, don't really know what's going on. Tomorrow is supposed to be kind of a light day, fingers crossed. Saturday, I think I'm going to be home just doing videos and video gaming and hanging out with the kids. Sunday, if all goes well, my hope is to be going to Managua. I have figured out that the Twitter page for In Tour Nicaragua, which is the Department of Tourism, is full of really interesting stuff, and there is a international art, culture, and gastronomy festival of our villages happening in Managua at the convention center, and they've got 35 countries representing. I have no idea if it's like they just put on things or if like those countries send representatives. I have no idea. It can only be so big of a thing, right? But it's in Managua at the convention center, and the Department of Tourism is pushing it. So that sounds like it should be a lot of fun and something totally different than we normally do. So I'm really interested in going to check that out. I definitely want to support all those touristy things that they're doing, and they're neat because like tourists don't go to these things, right? These are Department of Tourism for Nicaraguans to go to, right? Like, so obviously that's who sees those things. But how much fun is that? Like going to check out all the stuff that's being put on for people in Nicaragua. That's such a fun experience. I'm really looking forward to that and hoping that I can pull that off. Also on their page, they mentioned that tomorrow is the opening of the Matagalpa Coffee Museum. I should say the reopening of the Matagalpa Coffee Museum, which absolutely I want to go check out. Now the pictures from it show that it is packed, so apparently they did well on their first day. I'm sure it was like a big thing that they advertised in the city, but I want to go up there and do some filming sometime really soon, because that's a pretty cool thing that I have never seen before. I've obviously been to coffee museums and I've been to Matagalpa, but I was unaware that Matagalpa had an official coffee museum, and that would be really fun to go check out and share with you guys. So that's on my list to do. I don't know when I'm going to make it up there, but I've been wanting to get up to Matagalpa for a while anyway. So seems like a thing that needs to happen, but hopefully Managua this weekend. Thanks for joining me. Please remember to like and subscribe. Put your comments below. I've been getting a lot, but I appreciate when I get them. And please share on social media. That's how people find us. I will see you all tomorrow.